What's up, guys? It is head coach Dwight here at Orangetheory Middletown, and today we're going to be talking everything Inbody. Now, our Inbody Scale is a huge part of our transformation challenge, which is coming up next month, but it's also a huge part of our studios because we want to be able to track our numbers over time, figuring out how much better we're getting, validating the work we're putting in inside of the actual studio. So today we're going to be giving you some useful tips about how to get an accurate reading, number one. Two, how to figure out what each section of your Inbody results means. And three, overcoming the stigma that comes with getting on the scale in the first place. So let's get into it piece by piece as we talk about everything Inbody Scale. Okay, first thing we're going to talk about is how to get a proper Inbody reading. First thing you want to stay away from is being overhydrated. Any situation where you're overhydrated is going to read as excess muscle mass, which you want to stay away from because we do want those numbers to be accurate. Same thing goes for body fat and food. Try not to eat up to 3 to 4 hours before your test, and if you do, let it be something light that can process out of your system pretty quickly because anything in your digestive tract is going to read as excess body fat, which you want to stay away from. Also, no heavy alcohol or caffeine consumption 24 hours before your test. Those numbers are going to skew according to if you have too much caffeine or alcohol in your system. A small cup of coffee won't hurt, but nothing too much in those categories. Lastly, let's test under the same conditions, whether it be early morning or late at night, midday after lunch. Those type of times and lifestyle things are going to make your numbers more consistent rather than being all over the place with your test. So let's stay consistent before we get on that scale. All right, so you've actually taken your Inbody test now. Now you have your results in your app. So let's talk about what each section means. There are 5 main sections for your results. So let's break them down one by one. Top section is going to be your body fat. And that is the most important number as far as our transformation challenge goes because it's the biggest percentage of body fat loss for our winner. Now on that one, men usually should be around anywhere from 8 to 12% on a healthy range, and women anywhere from 21 to 30% with those numbers. So keep those things in mind as you're working towards your fitness goals and just overall progressing in our studio. Next up, you're gonna have your weight, and that pretty much standard there. How many pounds you weigh is what's gonna be on the scale. Healthy range for people to lose over time while working out should be around 0.5 to 2 pounds a week. Anything more we kind of want to stay away from because that usually means you're overexerting your body, and we don't want to lose too much weight too quickly because that's when injury and things start to happen. So keep that in mind as well. Next thing you're going to have on your Inbody result is going to be your skeletal muscle mass, and that's going to be the actual pounds of muscle that you have on your body. That number should rise if you're pushing yourself hard enough in the weights, and if you're working out 4 to 3 hours a week, pushing those weights on the floor, then you should be able to gain a good 1 to 3 pounds of muscles over around a 12-week span. So keep that in mind when your coaches are telling you to pick up heavier weights in classes. Next up, you're going to have your body fat mass, which is going to be the number of pounds of fat that you actually have on your body. You want that number to drop, kind of like you want the body fat percentage to drop, so they kind of correlate with each other on that one. Lastly, you're going to have your metabolic rate down there at the bottom. So that's going to be the number of calories that your body needs to maintain homeostasis. Now, this does not factor in any kind of things physical activity wise. That's just basically what your body needs to live every day. So you got to keep that in mind as you're tracking your calories in attempts to lose weight and have higher fitness levels. Now that we've discussed the main page of your Inbody results, there's going to be a little button at the top that will take you over to your lean segmental analysis. Now this is going to be where the pounds of muscle actually sit on your limbs. So this is where you're going to see some of your muscular imbalances, whether it be your right arm is a little bit stronger than your left. These are things you can address using unilateral movements inside of each of our classes. Now, along with those numbers, you're going to have percentages. The closer you are to 100%, the more close you are to being ideal as far as where your muscle sits on your body. Now, we also got to factor in the fact that as you're building more muscle, your metabolic rate is also going to rise, which is a good thing. So the higher those calories are, you also got to factor that into your plans as far as food intake and your workouts. So keep all these things in mind while you're working through it. Check out that lean segmental analysis. I love it. And it's also helped me gain higher fitness levels in addressing some muscular imbalances I personally have. So keep all those things in mind when looking at your Inbody results. So the last thing we're here to discuss is the stigma of actually getting on the scale. I know, it can seem very daunting to look at the numbers sometimes, but knowledge is power. The more you have those numbers, the more we can be able to track the progress, and once we see the numbers being a little bit closer to what you like, then the better you feel about yourself. The numbers do not determine your worth. You're great, you already are. So you just gotta focus on where you wanna go, and then once you actually achieve those numbers, then for you, you'll feel a lot more confident in yourself about the work we're putting in inside the studio. So look them in the face. You will be okay. You're putting the work in anyway, so just continue to do what you're doing and you'll be even greater for it. Let's keep this thing going. Let's get in here and let's get it done.